Hello, and welcome to another edition of Ask the Attorney Anything. I am Rebecca Zung, and I am here for you to answer your questions about negotiating. In particular, I help you with negotiating with high conflict individuals, difficult individuals, oftentimes narcissists, people who are you feel like you can never win, the ones who you feel like it's just a waste of time to even try to negotiate with them or even try to get anything out of them. And that's what I help you do here on this channel and in my videos, on my podcast, in all of my resources. And so I'm here live with you to answer whatever questions that you may have in dealing with the narcissist that you are dealing with. What I would love to know is where you are all tuning in from. I love connecting with all of you. We have an incredible community on my channel and in my Facebook group. If you don't know about my private Facebook group, you are certainly welcome to join. It's called Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. And you just go look for it in Facebook, and you'll have to answer a couple of questions, but we'd love to have you join us there as well. So let's see, I'm starting to see some of you coming on in here, and I'm seeing people, oh my goodness, there's Anna, I think it is, from Kuwait. Hello, Anna. Hello, Karen from San Diego, and Tina from Cincinnati, and Craig from North Carolina. And Alexandra says, good evening. Good evening, Alexandra. And I see Dina from Saudi Arabia. Amazing. So go ahead and shoot me your questions, and I'm going to go ahead and start checking them out and trying to answer them for you. Let's see. Rich is saying, how do I go about helping them? My narc has recently made her way back to me saying she's sorry and wants to help. Yeah, so that sounds to me like somebody who's coming on back to maybe Hoover, try to love bomb you again, and try to get you back into her web of control. That's just my guess from what you're saying. A lot of times they come back to try to apologize, to try to get, because they're starting to realize that the jig might be up, that you might be onto them. And they're starting to realize that maybe you're not going to be doing everything they say in the way that they want you to, because up until now, maybe you've been the one who's just kind of go along to get along. And they're starting to realize that, okay, maybe they're starting to see who I really am. So that's when they might come back with their apologies to try to get you off of whatever it is that, whatever path it is that you're going down. You're starting to expose them in some way. I actually have a whole video on what it means when a narcissist actually says sorry. I would definitely check that out. But my guess is that if she's coming back like that, she's probably coming back to try to get you to do something that you aren't doing anymore, or stop doing something that you didn't used to do, or to just get you to back off from something. So that's my guess on that. Usually if you're dealing with a narcissist, unfortunately, when they come back to apologize, then it's not really because they feel heartily sorry for the sins that they have committed. It is because they want something, or they want to get you back into their web of control. So let's see what else I can answer for people. Let's see. Julia says, when I see signs of a narc in dating, I run the other direction. Good idea. Definitely a good idea. So let's see. Black Flag says, thank you for what you do. Let's see. It says, question from Super Tan is they're hoping getting standard custody back of my 8-year-old daughter after narc ex-husband manipulated me into joint custody. I'm from Texas. So I definitely should say that I am not licensed as an attorney in Texas. So these are just my thoughts, definitely not legal advice. But usually, just from my experience, I have seen once a final custody order has been put into place, whether it's part of a final judgment or just a final custody order, then you are going to have to prove some kind of substantial change in circumstances in order to modify that custody order. And one thing I do want to remind everybody is that when you're dealing with custody or a parenting plan or anything like that, the last order that's in place is the only one that the judge cares about. So even if you guys have been doing something else over here on the side, or you've got some other kind of conditions going on or whatever, the last order in place is the one that the judge is going to be planning to enforce. So if you want a change, you'll have to take a look at the custody standards within your state. And I'm sure that there's probably a statute on point that says, if I want to modify custody, what do I have to prove? And you'll have to take a look at that statute or whatever that law is. And honestly, you could probably find it very easily by just going, modification of custody in Texas. What do I have to prove? And I'm sure that that statute will pop up. And so what I would do is take a look at that and see what it is. And remember, when you're looking at a substantial change in circumstances, you're going to want to look from the time of the last order to now. That's the snapshot of time. So anything that happened prior to that last custody order will not be relevant. The judge will not care about. So let's say your custody order came into place in 2016, but in 2014, the other parent, left the kid by themselves for 3 days or whatever. From the judge's perspective, from the law's perspective, you signed a custody order, or there was a trial, or whatever happened that caused a custody order to come into place in 2016. So whatever happened in 2014 won't matter. It'll only be from the time of that last order till now. That's when they're going to look for that change in circumstances. And substantial has to be substantial. It's usually, it's got to be something pretty big. So not, that you're not getting along, because it's got to be something that's not foreseeable. And, something like that is probably pretty foreseeable. And usually, by the way, it's foreseeable that kids get older. So a lot of times the judges don't really see a child being older now as a substantial change in circumstance, because that's usually foreseeable. That's just my thought. Again, I'm not an attorney in Texas, but that's just kind of the basic ideas of custody. So let's see. How do you file for custody? What does the paperwork look like? And this is a question from CJ. So depending on your state, country, or jurisdiction, you're going to file something with the court asking for custody, and you will need to use whatever language is required for your particular state, country, or jurisdiction. But you start off any case asking for anything from any court by filing a petition or a complaint or whatever it's called in your particular area. And in that petition or that complaint, you ask for whatever it is that you want. So I call it kind of like the kitchen soup pleading, because you're basically asking for anything that you could possibly want. In general, courts cannot give you relief that you haven't specifically requested in a formal pleading. In general, sometimes judges do give some other things, but for the most part, for the big things, like if you want custody or you want alimony or you want something else to be done, you have to specifically ask for that in your pleadings. So that's how custody is requested usually. Okay. All right. So let's see. Do I need a lawyer to file for custody? So this is from CJ, the same person who just asked me the other question. So I would suggest that you do if you can afford it. If you can't afford a lawyer, you can certainly file on your own. A lot of times there are blank pleading sheets, a blank petition or whatever that are available on your clerk of court's website, or maybe it's the judge's website or something like that, or maybe it's just some state website. But usually you can find the documents that you need that you can fill in and file it yourself if you want to. So it just really depends on your financial situation. You do usually have to pay a clerk of court fee, and even if you are really in dire straits and financially unable to pay the clerk of court fee, you can even petition and ask the clerk for like a hardship waiver or something like that, so that you don't even have to pay the fee. Because the fee to file can be a couple of $100, $400, sometimes like that. Sometimes it varies from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, but it can be a little bit hefty depending on your financial situation. So you're welcome, CJ. Very good. Good questions. So I do some one-on-one consultations. Somebody's asking me about that. You can sign up for one-on-ones with me through my website, which is just at rebeccazung.com. I do also highly recommend that you join me on my free webinar, which I do. I'm actually doing it live on Thursday at 1 o'clock Pacific time. So we'll make sure to put a link to that below. Make sure you join me on that. I will be presenting it live. I will have my live AAA session just like this on there as well, and answer as many questions as I can on that as well. And that's on the 3 must-have secrets to communicating with a narcissist. So I give you about an hour of content and then answer questions as well. So make sure you sign up and join me for that, because obviously I'm probably not going to get to everybody's questions here today. And so that'll be another opportunity for you to see me live and answer as many questions as I can. So let's see. You're welcome, Deanna. All right. How can I prove mental emotional abuse of a child to modify visitation? So what you will want to do is probably get a custody evaluator involved in that particular case, because the the problem with using the child's therapist is that the therapist is going to have a privilege issue. So the therapist is not going to be able to testify as anything that's going on with the child. But a custody evaluator is usually a psychologist who is certified in being able to create a parenting plan, evaluate the entire situation, maybe even do psych evals of all of the parties involved, including the children and the parents, and can look at medical records, can talk to pediatricians, can talk to, teachers and things like that. If you don't have the money to hire a custody evaluator, then the best way that you can prove any kind of issue is through your facts and through your witnesses. And again, what I would suggest you would do in that particular situation is pull the custody statute in your state, country, or jurisdiction. So just find out what the best interest factors are for your particular area, and start trying to make, prove up each one of those factors, because that's what the judge is going to be looking for when he or she goes to determine a custody plan or a parenting plan. Okay? All right. So let's see. I was going to try to answer one more question. So somebody's asking about the worksheet. So my Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet is really, really easy to get. You can just go to winmynegotiation.com. That's the URL. I made it super easy so that people could find it. And you can also just go to my website. It's like the first thing right there on my website. Just go hit, I want the worksheet. You'll hit it and you'll get it. Okay, so just go to rebeccazung.com and you will find it. We'll also put it in the comments below, by the way, or in the description. We'll make sure that it's there as well. So, so join me for the webinar on Thursday. If you like this, Ask the Attorney Anything, you want me to keep doing this, make sure you like this. I want to see everybody liking this video right now. And I want to see all of you guys on Thursday with me as well. And join me in my free private Facebook group. Use these resources. I have so many free resources for you. And I want you to have this information. I want you to get out of these relationships with these narcissists. I want you to have that step-by-step guidance. So that's why I do what I do. So thank you so much for joining me on this edition of Ask the Attorney Anything. I'm Rebecca Zung. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, stop what you're doing and just subscribe right now. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and that way you'll get notified when I go live again. And otherwise, I will see you in my videos and on all of the other things that I do. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of Ask the Attorney Anything. And I'll see you next time. I send you all light, love, peace, strength, and courage.